In 1971, Richard Nixon did something that should have destroyed the US dollar. He took it off gold. Completely. Unilaterally. Without asking the world's permission. Before that moment, every dollar in circulation was backed by gold held at Fort Knox. Other countries could exchange their dollars for actual gold at a fixed rate. It was the foundation of the entire global financial system agreed at Bretton Woods in 1944. Nixon ended it overnight. The dollar became paper, backed by nothing. The world should have abandoned it. Instead, something extraordinary happened. And it was not an accident. This is Cipher Finance, and today we follow the oil. 2 years after Nixon ended the gold standard, America struck a deal. The details of that deal were classified for decades. Here is what the documented record now shows. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger negotiated a secret agreement with Saudi Arabia. The terms were straightforward. Saudi Arabia would price all of its oil exclusively in US dollars. In return, America would provide military protection to the Saudi regime and guarantee their security. Every other OPEC nation followed. Within 2 years, all global oil was priced in dollars. The petrodollar system was born. Here is why this is the most important financial arrangement in modern history. Oil is the one commodity every nation on Earth needs. Factories need it, militaries need it, agriculture needs it, transportation needs it. If you must buy oil in dollars, you must hold dollars. If you must hold dollars, you must keep buying US government debt, treasury bonds, to store those dollars safely. Every nation on Earth became a buyer of American debt, involuntarily. The United States could now run deficits that no other country could sustain. It could print dollars, export them to the world in exchange for oil, and other nations had no choice but to absorb them. America imported goods and exported paper, and the paper was accepted everywhere because oil required it. This is what economists call exorbitant privilege. France's finance minister, Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, named it in 1965, before the petrodollar even existed, because he saw what dollar dominance was already doing to French monetary sovereignty. After 1974, the privilege became absolute. Now, follow the consequences. When Saddam Hussein announced in 2000 that Iraq would price its oil in euros instead of dollars, he was invaded 2 years later. The official reason was weapons of mass destruction. None were found. The oil went back to dollar pricing immediately after the invasion. When Muammar Gaddafi proposed a gold-backed African currency called the dinar in 2009 to replace the dollar and the French franc in African oil transactions, NATO intervened in 2011. Gaddafi was killed. The gold dinar was never mentioned again. When Iran began selling oil in euros and yuan to bypass dollar sanctions, it became the most sanctioned nation on Earth. The pattern is documented. Any nation that threatens dollar oil pricing faces consequences: economic, political, or military. This is not a theory. These are sequential historical events with documented timelines. Now here is where it connects to 2026. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and their new members, have been actively building alternative payment systems for oil that bypass the dollar. China has established yuan-denominated oil futures contracts on the Shanghai Exchange. Saudi Arabia has accepted yuan for oil sales to China. Russia prices its oil exports in rubles and yuan since 2022 sanctions. The petrodollar system, which has underwritten American financial dominance for 50 years, is under its first serious structural challenge. What happens if it breaks? The United States loses the ability to export inflation. It loses the guaranteed buyer for its debt. It loses the mechanism that allows it to run $36 trillion in national debt without collapsing under the weight of it. The dollar does not collapse overnight, but the privilege erodes. And as the privilege erodes, the cost of American debt rises. And as debt costs rise, the pressure on every American, through taxes, through inflation, through reduced government services, increases. You are already living in the early stages of this transition. The Iran war has accelerated it. Every barrel of oil sold outside the dollar system is a vote against the arrangement Henry Kissinger made in 1974. Nobody told you this in school. Nobody explains it on the evening news. Because the people who benefit most from the petrodollar own the evening news. Share this before it gets buried. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is documented history. This is Cipher Finance. Now you know.